Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Man, where we leave no man behind. The story that we have today is one that resonates with a lot of men. Doesn't matter how old you are, young, old, rich, or poor, every single one of us, at least most of us, at some point in our lives, have experienced heartbreak. AyCee Bima is one of those young men who's gone through heartbreak, and his story caught the attention of Man. So we've invited him onto the show to have a chat with AyCee just to find out exactly what it is that happened. In fact, he's right here, so he's going to tell us his story. AyCee, thanks so much for coming on to Man.
Thanks, my brother. I'm honored to be here.
Saka, mimi, we go back, I think a few months, and you put up a post on social media in which you talked about the heartbreak that you went through. And you spoke about it with a lot of emotion.
That was deep. That was real, and that was true. It was back in November, around September, November. So I'm just gonna gaga because nyaicheka kurisa. But I've been with this girl for 3 years since college. We're actually in the same class. So most of the things that we used to do it together.
You studied civil engineering?
Yes, engineering. I was in engineering school. So, all those mathematics and physics and everything, we actually suffered it together. So fast forward to post-college, I'm busy in life. But I've always tried to, be there for my girlfriend because I wanted a future with her.
So she's the woman you thought you were going to marry?
Definitely, because I really wanted her. Sis, you know what? Takasinga. From the ground, to the top of the tree, we were together. So what really happened is because I grew famous, bro. I'm a social media influencer. I'm a film director. So, going out there into spaces, sometimes going out of the country, negraft. Unotanga kuona unge wakudeserve masleki uze unenge wakuposta uri mndege. So that's what really happened. So I cheated on her. Yeah, I did.
Why?
Sezvonataura unotanga kuona unge wakudeserve masleki because she's a woman of integrity. For that one I give her a credit. Because handiziva angana zvaita muroora wamoms and munhu ane brain, an engineer and all that. So inini manje unenge wakubuda uri paairport uchifanira kupostawo nechimwe chakatsuka chichi. So I started seeing this other South African girl because takasangana Nairobi, Kenya. Then it happened that the South African lady came to Zimbabwe for 3 months. Skatakatanga kuonana more frequent. The madam ndobva vazvibata because we're actually living at Monomotapa.
All right.
Mbava zvibata manje. So I ndakabhaisa at first. But then I then realized kuti pakaenda musikana waya unodzokedzana brain zako, so you get back to your senses and like this is not what I want. Tingori munhu akabatwa ne-excitement maybe of seeing these bougie South African ladies, and you say maybe I deserve some Mzansi chicks. So and then ndabatwa, then ndakabva ndakumbira ruregerero. So ndakangotarisira kuti ndicharegererwa, and ndakatokumbira ruregerero. I was sorry. I was really sorry, my brother. I was like, baby, ndokumbira undiregerere, like zvinhu zvese zvaunoda ndokuitira. Isusu tiri magangster. Titori magangster zvekudaro. We are always out there in the streets, and ukazoona ndakupfugama ndopandagumira ipapo.
Literally wakapfugama?
Ndakatopfugama, honestly. Ndakatopfugama. And my friend was there. My best friend was there, because ndatomuti German, nyaya iri serious. And because either ndoona urowa ndoameno bari hende, so takastaja chichichi ndokatasangana somewhere private, mandakumbira regerero, takaendesawo maruva chichi and everything. And ndakanyatsomupa time ndakati I don't want you to forgive me at this particular moment, but go back to your space, you know, and you have to think about it. If you really want to forgive me, if you really want to accept my apology or not. So a day after, but be a mature man, because look at where we actually came from, and also consider our plans, our goals, and where we are going.
So how did you feel when she said to you, I have forgiven you and accepted your apology?
I was happy, bro. I'll tell you, I was happy because I felt like I had lost my gold, and I was able to recover it.
Yeah.
So at that particular moment, ndakatongofunga kuti zvatongopera tatobo, we're now cool. That was in April. May, June, mchando meso musu zvaitofaya. Sometimes mchando moda uri mlaugh. So zvaitofaya, and you know, during this period I tried to make sure kuti ndasecure munhu wangu, because ndakaona kuti I can lose it easily, especially in behavior ndakuita. So I spent a lot of money, a lot of things that I actually used not to do, because I don't believe in spending on a lady like just to show her you love them. Spend it when it is necessary. But up and I to spend, game, you know, taking her to places.
So don't you think that you were buying her were you buying her loyalty, or was this an act of trying to convince her kuti
vakazvanda zvinhu ngomo, vakazvanda nice things. Ndikati zvinhu, maybe it sounds wrong, but women love nice things. So if you want your lady to love you, especially after wabaiza, just get them nice things and tell them sweet nothings. Or boss, sell them dreams. So then fast forward to November, September. Ndakaenda club. I was with my bro, the same guy when ndakaenda naye kunokumbira regular, because he's my right hand man. Ndaenda club by GM3. So it's a VIP club. No chilla kumasure chichi, you know. And ndaona munhu wangu. So the previous day ndanamfonera baby mangwana ndiraenda nayo club. Uripo here zvanzano mainini wangu ari kurwara ndinotoenda kumusha and chichi. So little did I know kuti munhu anga atoita move on kudhara. So there's this nigga anga ari kuAustralia. So pandakabhais up, I think that's when they've been having their talking stages and establishment of the relationship. So this nigga manje akabva auya muZimbabwe patime iyoyo yacho. So I pulled to club.
AyCee, I want you to hold that thought. You're watching Man to Man, and we're having a conversation with AyCee Bima, and he's a young man who's experienced an extreme case of heartbreak and decided to be vulnerable and talk about it on a Man to Man. We're back in a moment. Thank you for staying with us. You're watching Man to Man. We're in conversation with AyCee Bima, and the conversation we're having is around heartbreak. Now, AyCee, before we went to a commercial break, you were telling us your story. Chiti, you'd gone to the club, you were with your boy, and then what happened?
So that was the killer scene of the whole story. Ndakagara nemuchinda wangu tiri kurohwa norotuma drinks and face wanga roti iwe haisi madhamu yako here madhamu yatiri kuenda kuroots, you get it. So inini like I'm like bro chii munhu unozoti kana wadzoka mumunhu, especially when you had lost somebody, paunodzoka uchimutrust astereki uchidii, because you don't want to lose them, so you don't allow anything to, you know, come in between you guys. So I'm like, bro, you know, it's hembe ndidzo, munhu ndiye, hairstyle ndiyo and everything ndizvo zvese. Like, apinda nemufeso aradza kuti skin iri kubva kuchando. Yedu inenge yakarohwa neZimbabwean UV. So vaida vanogara kumasure, matables ekumasure esi ndoko kwatakagarawo because takachillawo takawanda mafans tiri kwekoko. So but they were some, you know, meters away, and pakati apa pane vanhu vakawanda, so they couldn't see us.
So once was say uchona madam ana mumface.
I can't even explain the feeling because that mafindifua anenge achitaurwa. You know, the word mafindifua has been misinterpreted lately, misused lately, because mafindifua BP. You know, maiko zinozwa kuita kunge magoosebumps. No, mafindifua ndekudzipwa kuchokwa nehasha kwake. So that was the feeling, bro. Ndakatarisa munhu ndiri kuona madam yangu, and you know, saka isusu tiri vanhu vari open, tiri vanhu vari also exposed. Sometimes nombopawo benefit of doubt kuti maybe a brother yake, maybe a friend yake, you know, this is modern life. But manje some minutes later vanhu ndongangarwa nemabeers manje, ndakuona vanhu manje vakochekerana manje vakutanga, and I still remember the song, bro. Vanhu vakutanga kutamba vese vari kuwainirana and everything. I'm like,
Havana brother
pashata manje. Panapa shiri yazofa manje. Then mfeso wangu ari busy ari kundiseka, haasitomuzwisisa kuti chiri kuitika. Like mfeso wangu chimonya manje, zvanzi wangu wajairirwa ende tinotanga mawane. I'm like, no bro, remember we are public figures, we can be fighting especially for kana munhu ari kuita maybe tichazoda kunzwisisa, maybe closure mangwana. But I couldn't, you know, contain myself at that particular moment. I decided to move out of that space. Ndakabva ndabuda. So the only way yekubuda patatiri was, you know, passing through pavangavari. Yeah. So when she realized that I was there, akapanika saka apinda panic mode. Kuda manje, because, you know, remember this guy is a new guy. Probably they were just, you know, past their talking stage, maybe relationship establishment. Saka she's confused now. Should I go to my nigga or should I stay with this new guy? Because remember, this new guy came when we had a fight.
Yeah.
So he's not a guy who is authentic. Munhu akangonyaradzawo panguva iyoyo, you get it? Saka pakabva paita little drama, and you know, takabva tadraw attention yemunhu wese ari muclub arakunzwisa chichikitika, and inini I don't like that. Ndakabva ndati wangoona ngatichibuda at least tiende kucar park. Tabuda taenda kucar park paya tachila. Namudza kuti ona handina ndakuya neubhawa ende wakaninyepera, and I can't forgive you, especially at this particular moment. Kuti wakaninyepera kuti uri kuenda kuna mainini wako ari kurwara, yet you're pulling through with this other nigga. You get it? Saka inini I had no information about this nigga. Ndo pakabva taura nyaya yake, hey, this guy paya patatambonetsana chichi, but you know, there was no time for explanations.
Yeah.
And akabatanga kuti, hey, I want to go with you, and I'm like, no, you can stay. Tabata pina mota nemfeso wangu, so my guy was driving, tabata bye. So I really felt it, bro. Ndakasvika pa 10 and I blocked her, of which ndansa nambozvita mulife mangu. Like, to me, there are signs of weakness blocking a woman. No, but I felt it because ndakabva ndatanga kufunga about the money that I spent on her, the extremes that I went, you know, in terms of sometimes, you know, kana magara kwengu yakareba, you start even doing unprotected sex. I was thinking, kuti, how many guys has she been seeing? Or maybe he's not the only guy. And I protect her, and I can't even, you know.
You can't vouch for her.
So zvinhu zvakandi confuse panguva iyoyo.
Did you feel at any point that she hadn't forgiven you, firstly, and secondly that she was justified in some way?
Yeah. Now, because Nini, at that particular moment, I was living in denial. As a man, you know, masculinity, it sometimes has advantages and disadvantages. So it is justified. She was correct because so it's an eye for an eye. But she was supposed then to tell me when I apologized, no nigga, Buddha, we can be friends or we can be just, you know, buddies. It's okay. Then lying to me.
But maybe she thought it was okay until it wasn't. Because I do Gayaga would, you know what, I can forgive this man until some point she realized that she couldn't.
But communication is key, my brother. Because trust me, the magnitude of the heartbreak that I actually suffered, I don't think that was malicious. So what I'm saying.
Were you hurt because it felt like revenge. Like
I felt like it felt like
Aka-
revenge.
akakuteya.
Kuti angakanteya munhu wekuti ndichazongombata anofara uchifila chete. And so she kept me comfortable, and you know sometimes when sometimes uri vulnerable iwewe ndiwo uri kuita zvese, like you're submitting to everything. Saka inini manje ndo position yanga ndiri kuti she took advantage of me because I'm human, bro. I make mistakes, and me cheating on her, it was a mistake. I explained to her, and ndakamubvunza uri undiregerera waita move on, akandiri kuregerera. So I was at a point yekuti we are now cool, but why are you doing all this?
So let me ask you this. Wrong move and mistake, Jagasiana. How was it a mistake? Because you've thought about this, you've met this person, and you've conversed, and you get to a stage, but you know what? Munu na muda, and did it. One and munu for 3 months. So
there are some things called moments, instant moments. So when I went to Kenya, that time I'm very excited. Am I living my dream? Because that was my dream. You know, traveling around Africa, exploring Africa and everything. You know, after Kenya, Tanzania with the same person, Uganda, Ethiopia with the same person, same South African guy. So I felt like now this is the person I really want to live my dream with. Yeah. Now because we travel together, we're doing the same thing. Now forgetting I have a chick back home whom I had actually established a love story with. So it was a mistake because it was out of excitement.
Okay. We're going to come back to to the final leg, the final chapter of this conversation.
Okay.
And as we wrap the show up in the next segment, we're going to invite Apostle J. Daniels. As a man of God, as a pastor, and obviously as a counselor, he'll give us some insights into how young men or old men can deal with heartbreak. You're watching Man to Man. We're back in a moment. Thank you for staying with us. You're watching Man to Man. Coming now to the end of the show, AyCee Bima, a young man who experienced incredible heartbreak. Joining us for the final segment is Apostle J. Daniels. Apostle, thanks so much for coming onto the show.
Thank you, Hugo. How are you doing?
Pretty good. So you've obviously heard some of the conversation.
Yeah.
We're going to tidy it up and then just get your reflections on some of the emotions that AyCee went through. AyCee, behavior what yakatanga kuchinja ngogorwa chap because just walk us through some of those emotions and how you try to deal with them.
Creators, we tend to be introverts. Sometimes when I was looking around for 2-3 days, kana utoudza boss kuti andisikuya kubasa nasi ndiri kurwara, why? Because I just want to be alone. So we don't trust in people, we don't trust people, we don't believe in people. We believe in ourselves, and we believe kuti, the emotion you could actually pour it out through creating. So that's when I made that video. I was actually in my emotions, but at the same time I was trying to reach out to people who are not intentional, because my fans are not intentional. Somebody who is loving me from Gokwe, Murewa, Blawayo, ahandiziya anombomutengera madrinks, so any day ndakambomuitira favor. So their advice has to buy a favor, has to buy love. So that what I actually feel
authentic.
It's authentic. So I decided to say, let me talk to everyone. Let me talk to my guys. Let me talk to my fans.
Some fans away did you much?
Ndakatozoona manje kuti nditori nani. Because in seeking help from these guys, vangavatondudza nyaya dzavo kuti ndaraenda ndatonganza irora, ukascrolla comment section of that video, ndakatozohila ka. I'm not the only one who's burning here. Everyone is on fire.
So let's bring in Apostle JD.
Yeah.
We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Heartbreak is just one of those things that affects a lot of young people.
True.
Affects a lot of people. In fact,
Yeah.
affects a lot of men.
Yeah.
How do we cope with heartbreak? I mean, what do you say to somebody like AyCee?
Yeah, I think I've often say that heartbreak sometimes can be very intentional and deliberate, and for most people who are not yet married, can be a choice. You choose without knowing you've chosen it.
Okay.
Because when you talk of a heartbreak, you are talking about trusting someone with your heart that you have not committed to as yet. Because literally speaking, a relationship before marriage is a courtship setup where you're discovering to see if you're compatible. So at the end of the day, if the relationship reveals that you're compatible, it has been a success. If it reveals that you're not compatible, it still has been a success. So hence there's no need for heartbreak, because you got to realize this person, I can't commit to them in marriage.
But Apostle, that's
heartbreak.
that's a rational way of thinking of it,
Yeah.
right? But like AyCee was with his girl for 3 years,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So in the process of trying to find kuti munhu ndiye chaiere kana kuti haasi, you fall in love,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Now when you separate from the one you love,
yeah,
your heart breaks.
Yeah.
So it's almost inevitable, certainly in my view, right? But
Yeah.
how do you cope though? I mean, what are the coping mechanisms? I mean, you can't be
in the event
drinking.
that happens, well, probably the best idea, there's a message I did called Vumagurambwa. It's just, you just have to accept what's there. And sometimes we accept things on the basis of us not being incomplete or whole. Tinoona urambirwa nyaya yekuti munhu ndiye ane problem kwete inini. And sometimes kurambwa at times is protection. You never know what was going to happen in the near future. Always consider the worst case scenario. You could have committed to this person, and this happens when you've got 2, 3, 4, 5 kids. The damage is beyond. So sometimes instead of succumbing to a heartbreak, I think you can be grateful, because somehow it's the love of God that exposed that kind of thing before you committed 100%.
I have a question, Apostle.
Yeah.
That is relating to my situation.
Yeah.
That I was heartbroken.
Yeah.
By somebody wangandati nabo, because remember it's 3 years.
Yeah.
From college.
Yeah.
In college you go through a lot together. And post college you're actually planning a future together. And that inini ndindakabaisa.
Yeah.
First.
Yeah.
Ndobva ndakumbira regero ndikaregererwa.
Yeah.
Ndobva ndazobhaizirwa. Now I'm at a point yekuti the girl is talking to my friends. She wants me back. I don't know kuti inyaya yekuti ndakaposta here, or I don't know kana kuti she later realized kuti the man she actually left me for is not as good as Rasta. Rasta sometimes anakidza.
Yeah.
Saka what should I do? Should I go back to her? Should I leave her? Because ndakatozoona kuti zvinhu zvinotoconfuse makawanda kuti after maita break up moda kudzokerana. Is it a good advice? Is it a good idea? But we want to focus on the situation. Ndindakatanga kukanganisa. So I deserve that. And ndazokumbira regero ndikaregererwa ndikakanganisirwa. And now munhu akuda kudzoka. Saka it is more like a cycle, because inini ndichazofila unge ndakatadzirwa because ndikaremember heartbreak ndichachita futi tongoramba tichidai, oro tichasvika papoint yekuti wangu I can't afford losing you and you can't afford losing me. So ngatikure tiite vanhu.
Okay, eventually, what's the purpose of a relationship? That's the first question. Secondly, let's not act as though we don't have control over our emotions. Kazhinji takumaene kuti moyo mutu unomera paone, but ukamera pagudo, would you go in the mountain and basically settle with the mountain? Moyo wako ukamera pamukadzi wemunhu, are you going to do that? Let's not elude that point. We need to include sense at the end of the day.
Okay.
You definitely know if that relationship is going to start, it's going to have a lot of scars. You're not committed. So you're going to need counselors, people who can assess if it's healthy. You see that? Because already, in the past, you're not going to damage the future of the relationship. But mangwana mganetsana, watanga foot, there are trust issues. So there's need for proper assessment that is not just based on the two of you. There's need for adult people, accounting authorities, people that can sit you down, assess how genuine each one of you is, and if there is space for that. Kana zvisingaiti chero minima emotions, sense must overshadow emotions.
Okay.
You know.
Apostle JD, appreciate you coming on to the show today.
Thank you, Hugo.
AyCee,
Yeah.
wish you all the best and thanks so much for sharing. Yeah. Well, I certainly hope in a few months there'll be wedding bells.
Of course.
Whichever way it is, it's a conversation that's worth having. You've been watching Man to Man. I'm Hugo Rebatika. Remember, we leave no man behind. Follow us on all our handles that you can see right now. Look forward to seeing you again in the not too distant future.